you know, don't ask for trouble, but don't screw around with me, if I could use that term. Don't tread on me. No better friend, no worse enemy. That was sort of the tension that is there. And this foreign policy it mirrors that. And in that signal leak conversation, you saw that tension with Pete Hegseth. You know, he didn't really know which, you know, there was J.D. Vance on one side and Waltz on the other. But he was trying to figure it out. I know the leaks have been, he's got some MAGA people around him, and he let them go. They went to Tucker. They said that they did not want this administration to preempt and hit Iran. There's people on the other side that did. So you never got the story. There were people leaking. And then, this is really weird. Susan Rice. This is the woman who managed, I think it's a world record, Jack. She got on TV 5 times on one Sunday and lied 5 straight times about Benghazi and claimed that was a spontaneous attack due to a video in the United States by a Coptic. It had nothing to do with the Al-Qaeda pre-planned or poor preparation, or they had been prior warned and Hillary didn't. She just lied. And they put her out there to do that.
Right.
She was and then she lied and said that there was no WMD in Syria. Remember that we had this red line moving around, Obama said, and we got the Russians in. We invited them in after a half century, and you know they're there, and they've assured it. And she lied about that. And then she came out and said she got fired from the Defense Policy Board and Advisory Board.
This was last week.
Yes,
right?
and he fired. Pete said, you know, this is where the leaks are coming from. One source. So he got rid of all the people who were Biden, Obama leftist. And she got so angry, she went on and said this was a white male, cisgender Christian, and mediocrity, and going after people of talent. You have no talent, Susan Rice. Your record speaks that you did not tell the truth. You 5 times lied to the American people. You lied to it about Syria. It was on your administration's watch that Barack Obama as president, your boss, that Vladimir Putin went into the Donbass and Crimea. And he did that because you refused to sell offensive weapons like javelins to the Ukrainians. You did that, and your team went into a disastrous Russian reset where you appeased him, and thought you were going to, by the power of your persuasion and your, rhetoric, you were going to make him into a left-wing, progressive, liberal humanitarian. And when he didn't want to do it, then you went the other way, but then he took advantage of you. Susan Rice, do you remember Seoul, March 2012? Mr. Medvedev, the president, said to Barack Obama, they had a hot mic, and Obama said, tell Vladimir that this is my last election. He gives me space. I'll be flexible on missile defense. And he canceled missile defense with the Czechs and the Poles. And why did he do that? He did that so Putin would not invade in 2012 and make him look like a fool. He kept his bargain at our expense and got rid of missile defense, which would be very handy right now for the Eastern Europeans. And in exchange, Putin did not invade till 2014. But he did invade because of and you have the gall to get up and say Pete Hegseth is a white man in a race. It was a racist rant. His race has nothing to do with it. The other footnote to this is Lloyd Austin. You remember, Jack, when he came in January 20th as Secretary of Defense? I think it was I have a pretty good memory. I think it was February 2nd or 3rd. It was about 2 weeks later. He fired every single person who had been appointed by a Republican on the Defense Advisory Board, and included luminaries like Jack Keane. General Keane. He fired all of them. He fired Newt Gingrich. He fired all of them. He did just what Pete Hegseth did. I didn't hear Susan Rice said, oh, Lloyd Austin, a man of color, hates white people, and he fired them all. That's what he did, Susan. He did exactly what I didn't hear a word. And then people are saying, Donald Trump fired, is it C.Q. Brown that had a person of color who was the Joint Chiefs, and he's fired a couple of more generals. He's got a lot to go because in 5-year period, Barack Obama relieved of command 179 officers, including the top-ranking officer in Afghanistan, General McKiernan, and McChrystal, he relieved him. He relieved everybody. He relieved James Mattis, who was, he relieved everybody who he thought would not follow the Obama, whatever the Obama dogma was. So this was just so silly. It reminds me of this. Did you see that article that David Brooks wrote about Donald Trump being an authoritarian? It's time to galvanize. I could not believe that. I thought, David, you sat there and you didn't say one word when Alvin Bragg contorted federal law as a local prosecutor to destroy a political opponent. If you didn't get that one, you could have got Fannie Willis. Is there a reason, David, why Fannie Willis was taken off the case? Why she had to pay a $50,000 fine? And she's now looking at criminal exposure for not complying with a subpoena on document? Is there a reason why Jack Smith is under a cloud of doubt that he didn't tell us that he took $140,000 in free legal fees while he was special prosecutor? Is there a reason why Letitia James is now looking at allegations of insurance fraud, mortgage fraud, perjury, falsification of documents? These were the people that you didn't say a word about that warped the system. If that wasn't enough for you, we've got the Mar-a-Lago raid. We've got deballoting Donald Trump. We've got these people in solitary confinement with no charges on January. He didn't say a word. And all of a sudden it doesn't go his way and it's dictatorship because a complete thug who was a spousal abuser, who was picked up in a trafficker's car, driving it with 8 illegal aliens, speeding an illegal alien who had gang affiliations and tattoos, and that's the cause that the left is going to die on? That is a civil right? No.
Yeah.
Don't believe, anybody should not believe any of this, that Donald Trump is a dictator, that this warping the law, he's vindictive. Jonathan Turley is really good when he wrote about today about the judge that was arrested. That was completely out of line, that what she did. And he was really good in explaining it.
So, Victor, you mentioned Jonathan Turley and his piece, and this is Judge Hannah Dugan, from Milwaukee County Circuit Court judge, who was arrested, and another hill that some Democrats want to die on. She, what did she do exactly? She kind of played a fake game, so someone could slip out the back door.
Yes, if anybody else did that when a person was wanted, that's a felony. And she was arrested, and everybody's upset. And then she boasted that she was willing to go to jail, and she's a cause. Good, let's be a cause celeb. Die on that thing. That guy was also a beater. He hit a woman and a guy. They always pick the people who are the most repulsive. You know what I mean? If you're going to once you find somebody who was, he's a roofer. He's working 12 hours a day, and he's never been arrested, he's never taken a dime of welfare, and there's a mistake and he's deported. Go get that person. But why do they keep finding all these people? I mean, they're everywhere, these criminals. Kristi Noem is in a burger house in Washington, D.C., and a professional thief sees her.
Did you read about that guy? He's illegal from Chile. He was
He's
arrested.
An illegal
he was jailed
professional
in England.
thief.
Yeah.
Right?
Known global thief, even.
Yeah, global thief.
But he's here in the U.S. And,
what was it? I have to ask to Democrats, how did you guys pull this off? How did Joe Biden open the border and get every horrendous criminal in the world to get across that border? It's amazing. They're everywhere. I have a feeling that if they just if these district judges will just follow law and let them be deported, the crime rate will plummet in half. They're everywhere. They kill people on the road. Every single day there's a story about an illegal alien who gets drunk. Did you see that Russian immigrant? His son and his girlfriend were killed by an illegal alien who was drunk and tried to flee the scene. They're everywhere, these criminals that were led in under Biden, and it's an epidemic of crime, and they want to champion these people. Well, so this judge, and then there was another judge that said, didn't she say she's going on strike in empathy, solidarity? That is a crime as well. for a judge not to show up and deliberately do so as a form of protest. I hope they put her. I hope they just say, you know what you did is comparable of going into the Capitol when it was closed and walking around the Capitol, not the people who did any violence, just walking around, talking to the guards, the guy with the horns, remember him? The Buffalo,
oh my gosh.
Viking guy, he had a lot of psychological problems, medications, and they put him in solitary. You should just be treated the same way by the federal government that those people were. Because you people all thought that was great. There were hundreds of people who committed no violence, and they were put incarcerated for a long time before they were even brought up for an indictment, and then they were harshly judged. I wish that they could see that.
Victor, I don't know if
we have another judge, Jack. We have those
Mexico?
2 judges.
New Mexico?
Yes. He had a gang member living with him, right?
Yeah.
And he tried to erase the evidence on the phone. There was evidence of barbarity and cruelty, killing, torture.
Headless, 2 headless people, yeah.
What is it? Why do these judges and all these, what is so attractive about Mahmoud Khalil? What is so attractive about Luigi Mangione? What is so attractive about Carmelo Anthony? What's so Abrego Garcia? What is this? The pantheon of the new left?
Well,
my God.
Godless people, they're going to pick oddballs to worship, genuflect in front of. Victor, the related topic, and I don't know if you spoke to the great Sammy Wink about this, but the argument on due process coming from, the right also, but that old line.
Wait. You're not going to get away with that little hint.
Well, wait.
You're talking about the due process from the right. We're talking about a former colleague of ours.
No, others. It's broader than that. I know you went down the Andy road. I love Andy.
I like Andy McCarthy, but he's been writing about the injustices done to Mr. Garcia.
Well, this is a broader issue to me. Is the Justice Jackson, who said in the late '40s some decision. The Constitution is not a suicide pact, and this is a suicide pact if we believe this invasion of 12 million, which is, as you pointed out, it's more like 20 million, must be adjudicated on a one-by-one basis.
Yeah, the principle the left goes by is as I said before, it is legal for Joe Biden, a leftist, to break the law and allow in 10 million plus illegal aliens. But it is illegal for Donald Trump to try to rectify that lawlessness and find the people and enforce the law. That is their primary, that's the theme, that is the policy that guides them. So you can let in 10 million people, some of them right during COVID, no vaccination, no medical history, no criminal history. They all broke the law when they came. They all broke the law when they resided here. And there's no consequences for the people who deliberately flouted the law, like Biden in New York. There's no criminal exposure. And each one of those who had no audit now is deservedly supposed to have a trial. Even the ones that have deportation orders out. He had 2 trials. The only reason he wasn't deported is some judge felt that a gang, and I like that logic especially, he's not a gang member. Those tattoos have nothing to do with gangs. I know there was a police report that said that he was with M13 gangs, but if he goes back there, he's threatened by other gangs. But it's only because that gang one-sidedly threatened his family. And it had nothing to do with him being in a gang. Oh, and by the way, most 99% of M13 people are now in a maximum security prison. And the President Bukele has basically broken M13. So he wouldn't be in danger if he went back. And oh, by the way, it's Yankee imperialism to say that, oh, we're Yankees, I don't know, it's 1890 and we think our little brother down in El Salvador, we're ordering you to take one of your citizens out of your jail who you think is an M13 person with the other people, and you have him in there, and we're ordering you, El Salvador, a sovereign nation, to send your citizen back to us after he entered illegally. I don't think we have the right to tell a sovereign nation that.
Victor, we're going to talk about David Hogg and the Democratic Party. We're going to do that after the break. But before we go to the break, I just want to mention, get your thought on something quickly, because we're talking about before tariffs and other things. One of the things Donald Trump is doing through some of his cabinet officers is addressing the regulation chokehold on America. And here's a headline: Interior Secretary Doug Burgum to streamline permitting time from years to 1 month. On Wednesday, Secretary Burgum said that the department's streamlining of permits will bring the department review time from potentially years to just 28 days. And he's following Donald Trump's national emergency declaration. The Department of the Interior under Burgum moved to implement emergency permitting procedures to accelerate the development of energy resources and critical minerals. I think this is vastly important thing. And Victor, we even know on a small business level what business owners are saying: get the regulations off my back and I'll be able to succeed.
He's the anti-Californian, because here in California, we've lost about 20% of our oil production. We could be number 3 in the country in oil production. We have the Monterey Shale naturally. We could do anything, but Gavin Newsom, who now he's saying that Donald Trump's tariffs are responsible for his misgovernment. But we're going to lose 20% of our oil refinery. All the refineries are leaving because of Gavin Newsom's rules and regulation. So since Gavin has become governor, we have a $30 billion high-speed rail boondoggle. The 99 is still the most dangerous highway per miles driven in the nation. We're cutting back on the production of oil, which we have in abundance. We're not refining oil. 1/5 to 1/4 of all PG&E customers have not paid their bill, which has doubled under Gavin, and it's going to go up again. And he took money that was designated for 3 critical dams for storage. We could have used them this year. We had a pretty good year, water and snow-wise, and he blew them up. 80,000 customers lost clean energy hydroelectric power, and he's not done yet. He is the worst governor in the history of California, and it's so sad. We have everything here, Jack. We have rare earth mineral in our desert. That, you know what I mean. We could mine them tomorrow. And with Wyoming, we could be independent. We don't need China's rare earth minerals. We have them in places like Utah, Wyoming, California.
Minnesota.
Why don't we just do it? Yeah, we could do it. But Gavin won't do it. And so Steve Hilton is running for governor. Did you see that?
I did see that. Do you know him? Have you?
Yes, I had dinner with him not too long ago. I like him. He's very bright. It will be a challenge for someone who was a British national, he's a naturalized citizen, to appeal to the diverse population of 27% of our population. Maybe that'll help. We're not born in the United States.
I mean, an Austrian bodybuilder was governor.
Yeah, he did it. You're absolutely right. He did it, Arnold. So I think that we're in a mood for a radical change. I just don't know if he were to be elected. He's dealing with the most unhinged legislature in the world. But maybe if he were to be elected, then there would be changes, because I think they've only issued maybe 100 permits in Pacific Palisades, so that thousands of people lost their homes. The person who was the head of Water and Power, who had the reservoir dry, the hydrants weren't working, she's still there. I think the deputy mayor is still there, who was under house arrest for allegations of phoning in a bomb threat. London Breed is still there. You have all of this. I don't know how you deal with all that, but it's getting to the point of a third world country. We have the largest exodus. People are leaving. And I had an interesting conversation also with a person at the place I was the last 4 days, and we were talking about fertility. And I mentioned it myself on here, but there are trends, Jack, below the news cycle that we don't really are aware of, that when you have all these people, 3 to 4 million a year leaving New York, Illinois, California, Minnesota, and then you have a very different culture. You have the professional woman, the climate change doesn't want to bring a child into the world. You have a greater per capita incidence of abortion. But the fertility rate in the red states is, it's not 1.6. It's about 1.8, and it's not 1.6 in the blue, it's about 1.4. And so the families and people are going to red states, and they are increasing in population. And that's going to be, in the next census, it's going to have maybe 10 congressional seats. But more importantly, what's the word? I don't want to use a clinical term that sounds like Brave New World, Huxley, but they're outbreeding the blue states. In the blue states, It's a death cult. It's a personal sensationalism, sensualism. Well, I'm not going to wake up at 2 and change a diaper.
Yeah.
I'm not going to contort my beautiful body. I'm not going to be responsible as a man to have to worry about providing for 2 kids. No. We're going to go out every night and party. We're going to do culture. We're going to do wine and Napa Valley. We're going to do all, but we don't want kids.
If you enjoyed today's video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and share your thoughts in the comments below. Make sure to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss any of our latest content.